Hello, book friends, and welcome back to the Sort of Truth podcast, the chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of True series with an ink pot full of craft brew on the side. That's not a tattoo gun. I had to read that note twice to realize what you meant. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and on this episode we are telling you what we honestly think of Chapter 14 of Blood of the Fold.
Honestly.
Honestly.
Really are.
For realsies.
Like what we actually think, or that's honestly what's happening?
Both.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I thought was going on.
Positively.
Glad we got that cleared up.
So, this chapter opens up right where the last one ended, just like the last couple have done that. We haven't had any big jumps or anything. Richard is in the room right after Toby, and Lunetta and Gale have left the room with all his peeps. He's still chilling with all of them there.
Yeah, there's, about 8 people? The Mord Sith, who is it, the General Rybish, and a couple of his first file dudes, I think, right?
Yeah, there's a couple more soldiers there right at the beginning, and then they send them out, so I think it's just
the main,
yeah,
the very top tier.
Yes.
And, of course, Gratch. So it's like his entourage, if you will.
Yeah, let's not forget about Gratch. So, Kara asks him how he knew Lunetta was a sorceress. Like, how you know that shit, dude? And he tells her that he could see her Han. He's like, didn't you see it? It was, super obvious, glowing all around her and shit. Apparently, Mord Sith don't see magic like that. They only know it when it hits them.
I think people in general don't really see magic like that. I think that's something Richard is learning as a wizard he can see, and that the rest of the people don't see that. So when he talks about shit like that, he sounds maybe a little crazy.
No, I agree with you. There's a couple different things that have happened like this. So Richard's like, no, it has nothing to do with my magic. This is all just me. I've learned these things. I've picked them up. It's my experience, maybe. That's
it's like calling the target. You just do it.
Yeah. He's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. But it probably actually does.
It is, yeah.
He's like, I can see the Han because I've seen so many people with Han. I've seen that timeless look in so many eyes. I just recognize it. It's like, oh, no, you probably can see it because you can see it.
Yeah, I thought that was funny because, we're on book 3, and it seems like they've been going at this for a really long time. And I believe up until now, it's still only been the better part of 1 year.
Yeah, time hasn't gone by very fast.
I'm pretty sure he talks about months ago when he met Kaylin earlier in the book. So it really even hasn't been that long since he's met his very first magic person. Now, granted, there's quite a few people that he's met, but it's not like I've had 30 years of experience in dealing with people with the gift and they all kind of have the look in their eye. But no, so it's got to be something to do with the gift, I would say.
Yeah. And not only is this experience, super limited, because it isn't that long of a time period, other than Zed, who he knew but didn't know for a very long time.
Right.
But his magic woke up at the same time as, him starting to meet these magic people. So, it stands to reason that as he met those people, he gained experience and started noticing it. Because he's been magic. His magic's been there the whole time.
Right, well, it was growing with him, but then he was also meeting all the people with the magic look.
Yeah.
To be able to say that I've met all these people with the magic look.
So anyways, he doesn't understand why Lunetta would have been touching her Han that whole time while she was standing there doing nothing, basically.
Just standing there.
At least to his eyes. He thinks it might have been because it pleased her childlike mind, which was a little bit of a rude thing to think just based on how she looks. You don't know her. You can't just assume she has a simple childlike mind, Richard.
Yeah, we talked about Lunetta before. She seems odd. People notice her. But at the same time, it kind of struck me like maybe she is a little bit weird. But I think it's more along the lines of she just looks super poor. So you assume the worst.
Or innocent. She gives off a very
innocent,
open...
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I think she just sticks out in some way, and he kind of assumed the worst about her. And it's like, don't assume people are dumb.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Some people just speak slowly, but everyth's working in there. In fact, they probably have put in more thought because they're speaking so slowly.
That's very true, actually.
it's true, it is.
But he was worried worry that it wasn't actually the childlike mind. He was worried that maybe she was acting as a human lie detector, which we know she was.
Yeah.
And that's why he was being so careful with his answers. He was making sure that he didn't lie just in case.
Right, so that she would be able to report he's telling the truth 100%. He mixes his words, so he's not going to reveal that he knows Kaylin is actually alive and that everything he said could have been checked and passed.
Yeah, he said Kaylin Amnel's name, that is his betrothed. She is the Queen of Gallia.
Whoa.
She's the Queen of Gallia. And yeah,
it's easy to do.
And she's not dead. He didn't say she was dead. He said he's heard from lots of people she was dead, but he wasn't there. So everything checks out.
Right.
Richard wants to believe Toby isn't a piece of shit, but...
Like, for using his sister... Like, because he's using his sister as a human lie detector, and he doesn't want to assume he was lying about being compliant with Richard's demands. I was going to say request, but demands.
Right, and knowing what he knows of the Fold, he wants to believe that maybe this guy isn't as bad as he's made out to be, but...
Because he's blood, he assumes the worst about him, too.
Right, and he's assuming maybe he's just being a little overly suspicious because Kaylin is in danger, and so, like, he's gonna be seeing danger where there may not be. But I'm looking at it like this man literally just called out the specific super secret fucking plot that has been concocted to keep her safe. He called it out, like, basically by name.
Word for fucking word, yeah.
Every step of the way, and he was like, isn't that the case? And so you're going to be like, oh, maybe I'm just being suspicious. No. Nay, sir.
No.
You're not
Nay,
being
sir.
too suspicious.
No, he was dangerously close to exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So be wary, dude.
If he was just asking questions like, oh, could she maybe have gotten away? Okay, maybe I could believe that you're just being overly suspicious. But no, he got specific with that shit.
Yeah.
That's...
I think had
zone.
it been mentioned in passing, it might have been fine.
Yeah.
Like, it would be really fucking nice if she were still around, dude.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been useful. But of course, like we were also talking about, wish in one hand, you know,
Yeah.
shit in the other and see which one fills up first. Wishing doesn't help, and we know that's one of good kind's things.
Mm-hmm.
But had it just been in passing, I think that Richard might not have picked up on it so strongly.
Yeah, well, I think also because everybody else in the kingdom saw it another way. Like, he's one of the only people who's saying that he heard this shit. So,
Right.
like, it's weird. And also the fact that his people are historically against magical people. So, fucking weird. That's all.
Right. Obviously, Richard knows he was full of shit.
Yeah, so, don't be worried about you being overly suspicious, sir. Be suspicious. So, Berdine jokes about clipping Toby's wings or his balls if they're causing them some trouble.
You know, whichever.
Yeah, no big deal.
Super cash.
She has no problem with this. It's like not even out of her way.
It reminds me of the guy from Waterboy who's like, you want me to cut his fucking head off? I'll do it. I'll do it right fucking now. It didn't. His girlfriend did it too with the sign, want me to kill them?
Oh, yeah. So Richard tells her, no, we can't do that. He gave his word to me, and I need to give everybody the chance that I promised them I was going to give them, I guess.
If I go back on my word now, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and I'm actually wanting to take great care so that everybody who I'm now in charge of knows that I'm not actually a piece of shit. Everything I'm doing is necessary.
Yeah.
And I'm not bad. I'm the good guy.
Yeah. If he were to do that, it would put a lie to everything he said. So he can't be that person.
Right. Don't want to be that dude.
Right.
Oh, no.
So Rybish takes this opportunity to ask Richard if he meant what he said about the men not being able to take what they want anymore. And Richard's like, yeah, just so we're super duper crystal clear, we're fighting for freedom. We're not fighting for plunder. There's no more raping and looting. That's not really our brand, okay?
That's not our brand. That's not the vibe
Yeah.
we're trying to lay forth with our wars. You know what I mean? We're just going to have a real chill war.
Yeah, we're trying to shift the optics, okay? We had a meeting in marketing, and I don't know if you guys got the memo. Now, Rybish isn't bothered by this himself, but Richard asks for his honest opinion, being that he is the general that he is. He knows his men, he knows what's going on. And he's not going to punish him if he disagrees. That's what this is all about. He wants to
Right.
hear their opinions. But he will replace
Honestly?
him if he just... Yes, honest opinion.
Honestly.
Yes.
Sorry.
But he will replace him if he disobeys orders. Like, if you really step out of line, I'm gonna, knock you down a peg. I'm not gonna kill you.
Yeah, opposed to death, which I'm sure it was under Dark and Rawl.
Right, but speak up if you need to speak up, man. That's what this is all about. And so Rybish tells him the men expect plunder, man. They want to do all the terrible stuff. And Richard is like, this isn't about conquering lands. It's about fighting oppression. So we can't be the oppressors when we do that.
But yeah, he's like, hey, I got no problem with not doing that. But the guys, I mean, somebody's going to have to tell the guys. Shit, that's my job, isn't it? Now, okay, I can totally understand saying, hey, we're not going to, rape people once we take over a land. Okay? That should be, morally, that's easy to say. Hey, we're not going to rape people. That's not a thing we do. Like the taking of money and loot and plunder. Now, granted, what Richard's doing right now is the people that they're about to take over, if they have to, will then become Dahara again. So let's not utterly destroy everything, because we actually want, hey, maybe they got to pay a penance, but we're going to leave them intact to be able to do that.
Right. Well, and if you're talking shit about people who are, putting babies and women to the sword and raping them, you can't really be doing the same thing.
Right, exactly. The same thing. Not good.
Now, I just wonder, do you think that it would be harder to deal with this as a soldier out in the field who's been doing this all the time, or as a soldier who has been stuck at an occupation that you weren't planning on being, because the soldiers who are stuck in, Aidendrill haven't been out plundering and fighting for a long time. So do you think they would be more disappointed initially hearing, okay, plunder stopped, you've been stuck here at this place you haven't been able to plunder anyways, and it's all done. You didn't even get your last hurrah.
Are you talking about the veterans who have been doing this for a long time, or the guys that just joined?
No, the veterans. Because they've been there for a while now, so you would kind of think the guys in Aidendrill would be used to not they're hanging out. They're not, in the middle. Because
as of right now, their orders are to not do that.
Yeah, because they haven't been destroying and raping the city.
Right.
So I don't know if it would be more difficult on, the psyche of the soldiers that are in the middle of an occupation that they're not used to being in the middle of, or the soldiers who are in the middle of, in the field doing the fighting and the raping and the plundering.
I think it's going to be way easier for them to not do it right now, because the Lord Rawl's right here, and he'll definitely have anybody that does that kind of shit probably murdered. I think it's much harder to rein in guys who are in the field.
Who are in the...
because it's the heat of battle, and and I'm not trying to defend anybody that does anything of the sort. I just think that people get carried away during war.
I think the only reason...
And so it'd be harder to be no.
Yeah, calm down.
Yeah.
I think I was just thinking about it because maybe even last chapter, Rybish mentioned that his men are, itching for a fucking fight.
Right.
So...
that they're ready.
Yeah, I don't know. All those guys are, boiling now, and so telling them this on top of, that intensity of sitting there, I don't know, could make some people upset.
Now, he does actually mention a little bit further on in this chapter about how that's pretty much a tactic the Daharans use. You always have to be ready for the fight, because it'll kind of psych out your opponent.
Yeah.
If you're I'm itching for it, maybe he really doesn't want to as bad as you do, and he'll back off. So maybe that has a little bit to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely. I think guys in the field would be closer to the rabid dogs you'd have to watch.
And maybe it's an obvious question. I don't know.
I don't know. It depends. These guys here have been sitting. Maybe they're getting bored.
That's all. Yeah.
People get itchy trigger fingers all the time.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not even a little bit good.
No.
But
as I laugh, I'm a great
bad
person.
shit. Yeah, bad shit happens.
Anyways,
this is war, man. That's always what they say. But that was war.
Yeah. Okay.
In the movies. I'm done now.
So Rybus tries to get him to see that to the soldiers fighting, it doesn't make much difference. Every ruler thinks that they are doing what is right when they try to take over the world, and the men just do what they're told, and the reasons really don't fucking matter to them, at all.
Which is, okay, the reasons behind it don't matter.